Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Putt.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Today's a special holiday edition for Christmas, Hanukkah. Wanted to make sure that I had an opportunity to wish everybody a happy holiday season here, depending on whatever you're celebrating, whether it be Christmas or Hanukkah. Both of them are at the same time this year, which isn't something that normally happens. I think it's just another sign of the synchronicity that is going on with us this year and the changes that's taking place. I mean, next Saturday is New Year's Eve. Saturday in our Gregorian calendar is the last day of the week, so the year ends cleanly on the very last day, and the first day of the year begins on the first day of the week. So there's a lot of things cleaning up as we're getting ready to go into this new year. So I think it's a really awesome time that we're experiencing, and an opportunity to really see all the great, wonderful changes that are taking place. So the first thing we want to look at, as usual, this won't be a normal show, but I'm going to go over some basics here. The first thing we want to look at is the cosmic weather. What is the energy around us? Because we're all dealing with this energy, right? No matter who we are, what we're doing, we're living in a sea of energy that is affected by all the other people that are part of the sea of energy. And all of this is affected by the vibrations that are hitting us from all around, vibrations from the planets, from the stars, from the cosmos, and all of this stuff plays an effect in who and what we are and what we end up doing in life. Of course, ultimately, decisions on what we do are up to us, because we don't give our power up to anything outside of ourselves. What we're simply doing is looking to understand the weather. We can look at weather as the weather that we see when we actually see rain, or when we feel heavy winds, or when we feel the heat of fires. We could, and the sun. We could think of weather in that way, or we could think of weather on a subtler level. And that's what this cosmic weather idea is about, looking at the energies that affect us on a subtler level. Because remember, in the universe, we're living on the earth plane. Okay, but prior to the earth plane, we have the fire, the water, and the air. And it takes the fire, the water, and the air to combine together to create whatever this physical world is. And the secret ingredient in all things is spirit that flows through the fire, the water, the air, and animates the being here on earth. However, over time, we've forgotten that. And so all of these different understandings that we look at, from cosmic weather to the historical perspectives of the teachers on this planet, have been to show us and help us to get more in touch with who we are and what we're about, to bring forth that spirit within. So let's take a look at some of this weather for today. Today's the 25th, as I said. First thing we look at, it is not only Christmas, but it's Hanukkah. Our sun sign is currently in Capricorn, and our moon sign is making a transition from Scorpio into Sagittarius. So what we have is an earth sign in Capricorn. Capricorn in tarot cards is the tarot card of the devil, which is a card which is teaching us the ideas of illusion. That if we continue to look only in life at the physical things, we get caught up in the illusion of what's real. We have to learn to look past the physical, as I was just saying, to see the deeper spiritual impact behind all things, because there's a greater significance there. So that's our conscious mind. We're dealing with the physical reality of the world in which we live. But the unconscious mind, which moves every 2.5 days, that sign right now is just coming out of Scorpio. Scorpio is a water sign. It's an emotional sign. It's the tarot card of death, so it's a transition that's taking place emotionally. And we've gone void, of course, early this morning, 1:22 a.m. Pacific time, and that means that we've hit the last aspect of that energy. And now we have all day long where we're not actually in an unconscious mind phase. Okay, our mind is still going to be in that open-ended space as we leave one moon sign moving into the next. Now, the next moon sign doesn't come till tonight at 9:19 p.m., and that's when we move into Sagittarius, where our subconscious mind is going to start challenging us to seek out the truthful things in life, to reach for that higher self within us, in who we are, and that higher perspective. And hopefully this is something that is gained through a day of considering what are these holy days that we're celebrating at this point in time. So let's look at some of these other aspects that are playing out over the course of this day. So we had the void, of course, and that was when the moon in Scorpio was in a square with Venus. Okay, so Scorpio representing transition and change. Venus wants us to use our imagination. How can our imagination affect us and make an impact in this area? 2:59 a.m., Chiron, the part of ourselves that needs healing, started to come into play. Now we're in the void of course phase. And now that healing, that part of ourselves that's wounded wants to find some sort of healing. 7:23 a.m. Jupiter got into the mix, and it began to expand a bit, but it was here expanding the ideas of Venus, our imagination and creativity. So we're being challenged today to look outside the box, expand our thinking, use our imagination a bit more. Unexpected changes coming when we use our imagination here with Uranus, 10:35 a.m. So we see that definitely by being able to take and look at the expansiveness, and just through the expansiveness we become surprised by things. 12:33 p.m. Again, Venus is still in the mix, and this time we have Saturn, which is there to focus the energy, to discipline this energy. We want to really look at imagination today. It's expanding. It's going to bring some unexpected changes and surprises into our lives, and we need to focus all of that energy so that we can make it useful to ourselves. And finally, tonight, when moon goes into the new sign, it goes into Sagittarius at 9:19 p.m. So there seems to be a theme over the course of the day. The theme is imagination. Okay, it's imagination. What are we going to do? What are we going to imagine into life? And I think that's a great opportunity ahead of us. We have Hanukkah and we have Christmas falling at the same time. We have a year that's ending, the last day on the last day, and the first day next year on the first day. We have a lot of things changing in life. We're walking a path different than what we have in the past. We've now have an opportunity to take ourselves in a place that might be a bit more beneficial to all of us simply by applying our imagination. We don't have to do things the way we've always done them, which is the beauty of the whole process. All right, the moon phase currently is 11.6% of the way full. It's a waning moon, which means it's going back to the new moon, and that will be on the 28th of this month, 10:53 p.m. Now, in the Jewish calendar, the year is 5777. It started not too long ago. Remember, 777 is a big number. We see 777 in the Bible, Book of Revelations, a number of other places. Important number. 7's the number of victory. So we have 3 sevens together. That's victory, victory, victory. 5 would be the number of the spiritual teacher. So we've got victory, victory, victory coming through the spiritual aspect, the spiritual teacher that is teaching us all in life. And we see here Hanukkah. And Hanukkah is going to go on all week long. Okay, last night, just like last night was Christmas Eve, last night was the first night of Hanukkah. Okay, and it goes on throughout the week. So, that's the current weather. Current conditions for the solar weather. It's space weather. Solar winds 645.8 kilometers per second, so it's moving pretty good. Our planetary K index we could see is unsettled. We're at a 4 on a scale of 1 through 9. Sun's got a couple coronal holes that have opened up top over here. Nothing in comparison to what it used to be, so we shall probably still be feeling the effect of that. M-class flare is at 1%. X-class is also at 1. Geomagnetic storm activity seems to be decreasing in the mid-latitudes despite the unsettled energy that we're in at the moment. It will be settling down 15 to 10%, and in the upper latitudes it's going to drop slightly from 25 to 20%, 20 to 10%. So there is a decrease in what's going on. So this is the energy we're dealing with today. So as we go into the world, as we're going about our business, celebrating whatever it is that we're celebrating, Christmas, Hanukkah, or simply the holidays, whatever it might be, just understand that we've got a lot of energies we're dealing with, but today is about using our imagination. And despite all of the challenges that are around us, using our imagination to see if we can find a better way to do the things that we need to do that are more peaceful and more harmonious and more prosperous, not only for ourselves, but for everybody that is here in America and on the entire earth. I think it's very important. So today's a great opportunity of all of these things. All right? All right, so what I want to talk about today is the Christmas and the Hanukkah seasons that are upon us. What are these? Why are they important to us? And let's start with Christmas. Christmas is a very important time in which we celebrate the birth of Yeshua ben Yosef, Jesus Christ, who came to earth through Mary with Joseph as the caretaker, and they raised Jesus, who we know is a very important person amongst not only the Christian and Catholic faith, but a very important person to life. The reason he's an important person is he's God's son, whose job was to come here and to be the savior of the world, to bring to us a light that we were missing. So that makes Jesus very important. Now, Jesus isn't always recognized by all the different faiths that are out there as such a role, but nonetheless, that is the role, and that is what the importance is. So let's take a further look, because today is a day we celebrate the birth of Jesus. But was Jesus really born on this day? That's the question. And the answer is no. Jesus was not born on December 25th. However, it is a day that has been chosen to celebrate his birth. And even though Jesus wasn't born today, I think it's still nice that we're taking time out to honor and celebrate Jesus' birth. And it is in conjunction, we just passed the winter solstice, and the winter solstice is the time when the light is starting to return back to the planet, because we've just entered the shortest day of the year, and now we're going into the next day where things start to get more and more. The days start to increase. And so the light is returning to the planet, and that's what that winter solstice season represents. And so this is an appropriate time that the message of Jesus and his birth into the world is significant within that. But Jesus was born at a different time than December. This probably is the time when he was conceived, more likely. What I brought up here was an article that talks about all of this, and you can look this up and find there's many places, but the idea of Jesus' birth can be found in the Bible. It says, when was Jesus born? Jesus was born most likely around the end of September, in the Hebrew month of Tishri. Please note that the Bible gives no specific date of Jesus' birth. However, the date can be estimated based on when Hebrew shepherds historically tended their flocks in open fields, according to the biblical account of Mary and Elizabeth's pregnancies. As we look at the story of when Jesus was born, we often think of the shepherds in the field watching over their flocks. What can this evidence tell us about the date of Jesus' birth? Were the flocks in the fields at the time of our modern-day Christmas, December 25th? Well, let's look at what the Bible says. In Luke 2, verses 8 through 9, it says, Now there were in the same country shepherds living out in the fields, keeping watch over their flock by night. And behold, the angel of the Lord stood before them, and the glory of the Lord shone all around them, and they were greatly afraid. According to the Bible commentator Adam Clarke, it was customary for the Jews to send their sheep to pasture from the spring until early October. As the cold winter months began, the flocks would return from the fields for shelter and warmth. Since the shepherds were still tending their flocks in the fields around Bethlehem, it can be concluded that the angel's announcement for the news of Jesus' birth was no later than October. Now we can find some additional clues to the answer to the question of when was Jesus really born by looking at the birth of John the Baptist. Luke chapter 1 tells us Zacharias, who was from the priestly order of Abijah, and that after his days of service in the temple, his barren wife Elizabeth became pregnant with John the Baptist. In 6th month of Elizabeth's pregnancy, Gabriel visited Mary with the news that she would give birth to Jesus. The approximate month of Jesus' birth can thus be determined by counting from the date of Zachariah's priestly service until the birth of Jesus. Jewish priests were divided into 24 courses, which ministered throughout the year in the temple. The order of Abijah was the 8th priestly course. You find that in 1 Chronicles chapter 24, verse 6 through 19. And it served in the temple during the 10th week of the priestly cycle. The start of the 10th week coincided with the second Sabbath in the month of Sivan, which runs approximately from mid-May to mid-June. Soon after Zechariah returned from his priestly duties, Elizabeth became pregnant with John the Baptist. Luke 1, 24-28 and 31 records these events. It says, "Now after those days his wife Elizabeth conceived, and she had herself 5 months, saying, Thus the Lord has dealt with me in the days when he looked to me to take away my reproach among people. Now in the 6th month the angel Gabriel was sent by God to the city of Galilee named Nazareth, to a virgin betrothed to a man, Joseph, in the house of David. The virgin's name was Mary, and having come in, the angel said to her, Rejoice, highly favored one, the Lord is with. Blessed are you among women, and behold, you will conceive in the womb and bring forth a son, and shall call his name Jesus. Therefore, according to the text above, we can approximate the month of Jesus' birth to be around the time of Tishri, which is mid to late September. To arrive at this date, start at the conception of John the Baptist, Sivan, which would be June. Count forward 6 months to arrive at Gabriel's announcement of the conception, Kislev, December. Then count forward 9 months, and this takes for the human gestation to reach Tishri, September. That's when Jesus is born. The exact date of Jesus' birth may not be known, but we can rest assured that Jesus died for our sins, rose again, and that he will come back to take us to heaven. Imagine a sacrifice. Imagine leaving the glory of heaven to save humanity. This year, think about Jesus, his sacrifice, and his mercy. Ask yourself, how can I live like he lived? How can I share his message with those around me? All right, so very important. I think that if you really, I think it's really significant and important that we understand when someone is born. It helps us to understand a bit about them, and it kind of helps us to just know them, So it's very important as we're celebrating this day, as you're celebrating Christmas, remember the Christ, but understand that there's something about this day which is more than just what it seems, okay? This is a day about the light returning. It's a day that we celebrate the birth of Jesus because he represents the returning of this light. And it also represents the personal opportunity for each one of us to allow that Christ light to shine bright and be reborn within us so we can move forward in the world reborn. So a lot of great opportunities going on with the Christmas day, the Christmas season, and the mission of Jesus. I mean, can you imagine if your job was to come down to earth and take care of all of the business he had to take care of and go through all of the trials and tribulations? It's a pretty heavy-duty chore, but he took it on, and we're grateful for that because it allowed us an opportunity to evolve as a humanity, as humankind. And even though there's still challenges and battles which are taking place over this situation and what people believe and don't believe, nonetheless, it's still occurred and it still has affected us and will continue to affect us as more and more people tune into the message of Jesus Christ. Now, the other season, the other holy day that is taking place is Hanukkah. Hanukkah is also started at the same time. So here's a little bit from Shabbat.org all about what Hanukkah is. It said Hanukkah is a Jewish 8-day wintertime festival of lights, celebrated with a nightly menorah lighting, special prayers, and fried foods. The Hebrew word Hanukkah means dedication, and thus named because it celebrates the rededication of the Holy Temple. Also spelled Hanukkah, variations, the Hebrew word is actually pronounced with a guttural k, sound like Hanukkah, not Chanukah. Okay. Now, in the 2nd century BCE, the Holy Land was ruled by the Seleucids, Syrians, and the Greeks, and they tried to force the people of Israel to accept Greek culture and beliefs instead of mitzvah observance and belief in God. Against all odds, a small band of faithful Jews led by Judah the Maccabee defeated one of the mightiest armies on earth and drove the Greeks from the land, reclaimed the Holy Temple in Jerusalem, and rededicated it to the service of God. When they sought to light the temple's menorah, which is a 7-branch candelabrum, they found only a single cruse of olive oil that had escaped contamination by the Greeks. Miraculously, they lit the menorah, and the 1-day supply of oil lasted for 8 days until new oil could be prepared under conditions of ritual purity. To commemorate and publicize these miracles, the sages institute the festival of Hanukkah. Now, at the heart of the festival is the nightly menorah lighting. The menorah holds 9 flames, one of which is the shamash, or attendant, which is used to kindle all the other 8 lights. On the first night, we light just 1 flame. On the second night, an additional flame is lit. By the 8th night of Hanukkah, all 8 lights are rekindled. Special blessings are recited, often to a traditional melody, before the menorah is lit, and traditional songs are sung afterwards. A menorah is lit in every household, or by each individual within the household, and placed in a doorway or a window. The menorah is also lit in synagogues and other temple places. And in recent years, thousands of jumbo menorahs have cropped up in front of city halls and legislative buildings, in malls and in parks across the world. We recite this special Hallel prayer daily and add Va'al Nahasim into our daily prayers and in the grace after meals to offer praise and thanksgiving to God for delivering the strong into the hands of the weak, the many into the hands of the few, the wicked into the hands of the righteous. So Hanukkah begins on the eve of Kislev 25, last night, and continues for 8 days. And on the civil calendar, it generally concludes within the month of December. And just like holidays do, Hanukkah has some special foods that are part of the process. Since the Hanukkah miracle involved oil, it's customary to eat foods fried in oil. Eastern European classic is the potato latke pancake, garnished with applesauce or sour cream. And the reigning Israeli favorite is the jelly-filled donut, sufganya. Okay, and then you've heard about the spinning of the dreidel. On Hanukkah, it's customary to play with the dreidel. It's a 4-sided spinning top bearing Hebrew letters, Nun, Gimel, He, and Shin. The acronym for Nas Gadol Hayesham, a great miracle happened here. The game is usually played for a pot of coins, nuts, or other stuff, which is won or lost based on the number of dreidel lands which it spin. You've got Hanukkah Gelt. In today's consumer-driven society, people tend to place great importance on giving Hanukkah gifts. However, the tradition is actually giving Hanukkah Gelt, gifts of money to children. In addition to rewarding positive behavior and devotion to Torah study, the cash gifts give the children the opportunity to give charity. This has also spawned the phenomena of foil-covered chocolate gelt. Now, what this means for you, noting that one should spend time in close proximity to the Hanukkah lights, the previous rabbi would say, we must listen carefully to what the candles are saying. So what are the flickering flames telling us? Here are some messages. Never be afraid to stand up for what's right. And Judah Maccabee and the band faced daunting odds, but this didn't stop them. With a prayer on their lips and faith in their hearts, they entered the battle of their lives and won. We can do the same. Also, is always increases in matters of goodness and Torah observance. Sure, a single flame was good enough for yesterday, but today needs to be even better. A little light goes a long way. The Hanukkah candles are lit when dusk is falling. Perched in the doorway, they serve as a beacon for the darkening streets. No matter how dark it is outside, the candle of godly goodness can transform the darkness into the light. Take it to the streets. Hanukkah is unique in that its primary mitzvah is observed in public. It's not enough to be a Jew at heart or even at home. Hanukkah teaches us to shine outwards into the surroundings with the godly glow of mitzvahs. And don't be ashamed to perform mitzvahs even if you feel different. Rather, be like a menorah, proudly proclaiming its radiance for all to see. Okay, so again, here's the theme. It's a theme about light. And it's all about reclaiming that which belongs to God. The temple. The temple was taken over, but the temple was reclaimed. And it was reclaimed in a situation against all odds. And in reclaiming that, it allowed the light to be brought back to the people. because that light, when the temple was captured, that light was captured. It was pulled away. But people kept that light within themselves and allowed it to shine until they were able to, through much persistence, able to reclaim that temple. So now we have the reclaimed temple. Now we have the reclaimed temple. We have the very important ideas of light returning, and that, just like the story of the Christ and the birth of the Christ, is the aspect that is the most significant. It's the returning of the light. So what is this light? What is this light that is returning? Is it the light of the sun? Well, physically on Earth, the sunlight is returning because we've gone from the shortest day to the day now where it starts to get longer. But it's not the external light that is returning, but the internal light. It's the light of that Christ energy that flows through each and every one of us. No matter who we are, this light flows through us. But the light may not be seen into the world. It depends on what we do with the light. We may be aware that the light is there, and we may put a bushel basket over it to hide it, protect it, not let anybody see it. Or we may not even be aware it's there because we're so caught up in the worldly affairs that we don't even give credence to the idea of light being within us. But that is where we have to go. We have to allow that light to shine bright. And when we allow that light to shine bright into the world, we ourselves become the flames of light. Now, what's unique about fire is fire doesn't stay still, does it? Fire moves. Okay, it flickers. So that means the light within us moves. It is alive. It is not just a stagnant energy. It is a live light that shines brightly through each one of us. And we each have a moment as flickers of light to be able to shine brightly into the darkness of the world. And imagine as 1, 2, 3, 4, 100, 1,000, 1,000,000 people shine the light within them. Imagine what that does. And imagine those who are able to see beyond the spectrum of light, those looking from outside to our world, are able to see a world where the people are glowing and shining the Christ light within. Imagine what they would think, and imagine their willingness to ready to jump in and to help us out. So it makes a big, big difference in our world, and that's what's going on. On a practical level, light is information. So as we shine bright, we're shining with truthful information. And fire also does burn things off. It burns off the old negative patterns. It burns off the misinformation. So we have lots of opportunities ahead of us with shining this light into the world that are very, very significant. Now, over the years, we've dealt with the issue of how to give the particular greeting during the holiday season. And we've gone through this thing of Merry Christmas, and then it suddenly became Happy Holidays. And we've gone through phases where people are very uncertain of what to do because they don't want to offend everybody. We live in a world where people are on edge, ready to be offended. Oh no, you wished me the wrong holiday. How offensive. I mean, it's all really silly when you think about it. The whole idea, though, is that we're simply wanting to extend a greeting of kindness to somebody else about the holiday season. And if we just get over the things that offend us, then I think that we'll be much better in life because we let these personal things that offend us so deeply get in, and it's like, it's ridiculous. So here's an interesting article I found in this regard, and it's about this so-called decision where to say Merry Christmas versus Happy Holidays. The war on Christmas seems a bit more pitched than usual this year, and it's likely the campaign and election of Donald Trump has served as a catalyst. The idea is that there is an organized effort to remove Christmas from the public square by hectoring people into greeting co-workers, neighbors, and store clerks with Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas. And the right reviews in this claim each year as November wanes and retailers trot out red cups, Santas, Black Friday sales. But Trump has amplified the war on Christmas argument, which otherwise seemed to be losing steam. In October, Trump promised that with his victory, we're going to be saying Merry Christmas at every store. You can't leave Happy Holidays at the corner. Last week, Corey Lewandowski, a Trump advisor and former campaign manager, declared on Fox News, you can say, again, Merry Christmas because Donald Trump is now the president. It's not a pejorative word anymore. And Bill O'Reilly, a longtime Warren Christman combatant, has declared a victory. Last year, we analyzed public opinion on saying Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays using data from the 2013 survey administered by a public religion research institute. On Monday, PRRI released the results of a December 2016 survey on the same topic, allowing us to compare how people feel about these season's greetings over time. We can also see how these opinions compare to the presidential election results. In both surveys, PRRI asked a nationally representative sample of Americans whether retailers should greet their customers with Happy Holidays or seasonal greetings rather than Merry Christmas out of respect for people of other faiths. In both years, while evangelicals strongly favored Merry Christmas, while secular respondents prefer Happy Holidays or season's greetings. But the war on Christmas does not divide people simply along religious lines. There are also other regional differences. In both 2013 and 2016, the weakest support for Happy Holidays and season's greetings was in the Midwest, not the South. And as you might have guessed, although both regions have large evangelical populations, the South is also home to a large percentage of the country's African American population, and that group strongly prefers Happy Holidays despite their high levels of Christian religiosity. Support for Happy Holidays decreased somewhat in both regions this year compared to 2013. And here's an interesting map here. Western part of the country, we do have from New Mexico on over, we do have 55% prefer Happy Holidays, 45% Merry Christmas. We add to that, and it changes more towards the Merry Christmas when it gets into the Midwest. And down south, Merry Christmas is still preferable. But when you get to the East Coast, now you get into the Happy Holidays. So it's very interesting how, again, we choose to divide ourselves. Point is, it's a holiday. But it's not just a holiday, it's a holy day. And when people are out there and feeling offended because you're wishing them Merry Christmas, well, they themselves are celebrating the Christmas season by going out and buying presents and all this other stuff, it kind of gets a little bit too politically correct. It's Christmas. Christmas contains the word Christ. You can't take Christ out of Christmas. Though many have tried, you can't. Because then you have Xmas, and Xmas is not Christmas. And Xmas doesn't represent the cross. And it doesn't represent the manger. It represents an X crossing out the word Christ. And you can't take Christ out of Christmas. Just like you can't take the spiritual implication of the return of the temple, the reclaiming the temple out of Hanukkah. You can't take the crucifixion out of the Easter season. Okay? These are very significant spiritual events that have occurred. Now, as humanity over the years has gotten away from spirituality, this is why we've gotten into these generic happy holidays. Because you have people who don't want to be offended, and as the world's become more politically correct, people would get offended so easily, and you know the drill. So hopefully things are going to change. Hopefully we're past our political correctness now. Hopefully we realize that political correctness is nothing more than censorship. It's an attack on our free speech. It's censoring what we want to say because someone out there might be offended if we say the wrong thing to them. Well, we just need to get over it. We need to get over ourselves, and we need to get over our offendedness that happens, because we are all here on this earth together. Not separate, together. What happens on the earth affects me, you, and everybody else on the earth. So we all need to learn to get along. And we all need to understand that for thousands and thousands of years, we've all been celebrating various customs, various traditions, various holy days. And those holy days are all significant. And if we truly are going to coexist in the world, then we need to appreciate others' existence. Because if you don't appreciate another's existence, then you're not coexisting with them. We've all seen the bumper stickers coexist, and then we see the person who has the coexist bumper sticker being an angry person that is intolerant to anybody around them. I don't know why those people have those bumper stickers on their car in that regard, because it seems to be contradictory to their anger, but it occurs because we live in a society where people try to be politically correct and do the things that make them look cool when really they're having behavior that's just making them act like a fool. So we need to simply move forward and learn to truly coexist with others by appreciating their existence. Okay? So if you're Christian and you understand and celebrate the birth of Jesus, you shouldn't be offended if somebody out there who's celebrating Hanukkah maybe might give you the greeting of Happy Hanukkah. Appreciate what they're about. Respect what they're about. Because otherwise, we go through the world and we say we don't want to discriminate against others, right? We don't want to profile others. Yet we're supposed to be able to walk down a street and look at somebody and decide whether that person is following Christmas or Hanukkah. And we better get it right, because if we get it wrong, if we give them the wrong greeting, so we'll just use a generic one. Happy holidays. Well, you see, it's kind of silly, because it's all based around fear. False expectations appearing real. It's a fear that the person that we give this kind greeting to is going to be offended. If nothing else, just think about the greeting you get is simply an expression of kindness from the person who is celebrating that which makes them happy, in the same way that you are celebrating the things that make you happy. So let's truly coexist with each other. Let's coexist spiritually with each other and realize that God has many, many, many aspects. And when we coexist and we learn about each other, we find that we have much more in common than we have difference. And that is the whole point of all of that we are going through here. To understand our commonness. To understand our commonness. Okay? So, I think it's very important. It's very important for this day. And it's a good day to think about that. We've got all day. We're in that void of course phase. We're not in a particular sign. We're going to enter Sagittarius later. We're going to be focusing the next couple days on that higher self aspect of who we are. But right now, we're in that phase. We get to consider some things. We have a whole day of imagination ahead of us. A whole day to consider what's going on. Now, remember, astrology is not something you give your power up to. There's nothing to give your power up to. Astrology is nothing more than cosmic weather. When you look out at the sun or the rain, do you give your power up to that? No. You simply understand that you need to dress a certain way. Maybe wear a short sleeve shirt. Maybe you take an umbrella. Maybe you put on a winter coat because it's snowing. You don't give your power up to it. You just look at the weather and you move accordingly. Astrology is no different. It's just weather of energies on a subtler level than what we have with the physical reality. And since we live in a world that is not just a physical reality, but a reality of fire, water, air, manifesting in a physical reality, well, then it's important that we understand these deeper energies out there. We understand a little bit more of the cosmos around us, because God is in all of these energies. God's in the fire, the water, and the air. How do I know this? Because Spirit is in everything. Because Spirit is the place from which the fire, the water, and the air moves. And so therefore, all we have to do is tap into this Spirit, allow it to move, understand what it is. So, there you have it. Here's another article. This is over at In5D. It says The Secret Behind the Magic of Christmas. This is by Becky Rosansky over at In5D. Would you love to feel that special spirit of Christmas, peace, and joy all year round? I listened to one of Marianne Williamson's lectures this morning exploring the principles of A Course in Miracles, and she opened my eyes to a new way of understanding the magic of Christmas. I realized that the birth of Christ is actually symbolic of our own rebirth as we awaken to the Christ consciousness within each one of us. At Christmas, we connect with a part of ourselves that knows of our higher calling and connection to the divine. that speaks of our true nature of unconditional love, the part of us that knows peace on earth is possible. It starts by seeing the light within ourselves, loving and accepting ourselves fully, embracing the joy of the moment, of the present moment, and being a source of good will to others. The true human spirit that Christmas actually ignites within us. Why does Christmas feel so good? Because it is our true nature to give, to be kind, to give thanks. It's our true nature to come together with love in our heart, to see the world through a child's eyes, to see the magic and possibility that life has to offer. We choose to experience this reality of Christmas. It's not Christmas that gives us the spirit, but rather our expression of true human spirit that we give to Christmas. As we connect with our true essence and radiate peace, love, and joy, we light up the season with magic. We have this power in any moment, and I believe it is possible to extend this feeling and experience of life beyond the holiday season. Continue to nurture the love you have for yourself, your connection with the divine source and with all beings on earth. Continue to be your true self and do what feels good to you. Continue to show love, compassion, and understanding to others in any small way that you can, because an act of kindness is never small. Its effects ripple on for eternity. I wrote about the magic of Christmas in my first blog. Last year, I want to share again with you a poem I wrote that sums up what Christmas means to me. Christmas to me means togetherness. It is that warm feeling in your heart, as bright as the open fire. It is the joy of bringing a smile to someone's face with a simple Merry Christmas. It is the sound of children's laughter as they play with favorite toy from Santa. It is the smell of festive food filling up the home, cooked with love to feed the soul. It's the celebration of hope for a peaceful world, or react from love and share with all. It is the glimpse into our natural heart as the choir sings and as we share a smile. It is the candle light that lights up the night sky with wonder. It is the graceful fall of the single snowflake that holds the entire world within its simple beauty. It is the desire to give from our heart and to find it within our heart to forgive. It is the part of us all that loves joy, peace, and laughter, drawn together to share this special moment. It is the child within each one of us, reminding us of what life is really about, telling us that everything is okay. Christmas to me means faith in each of us to love and to be loved, to cherish our beautiful life, and to those we share it with. May the magic of Christmas stay with us as we step into this new year and beyond. I decided to bring the Conversation with God Divine Wisdom cards by Neil Donald Walsh to bring our message and blessing for today. The card I pulled reads, "Your mind is right now filled with old thoughts. Not only old thoughts, but mostly someone else's old thoughts. It's important. It's time now to change your mind about some things. This is what evolution is all about. At this time of the full moon, it is a perfect time to let go of the old thoughts we are holding back from being a full expression of who we truly are. Whatever comes first to mind for you of an old thought that is weighing you down and keeping you stuck, if you already feel ready, choose to let it go. Prayers can be helpful, and with this you may choose to say, Dear Lord, Dear God, Jesus, angels, divine, higher power, whatever term you are comfortable or familiar with, please take from me today all the limiting beliefs and the old thought patterns that no longer serve me. Help me to let go of the burdens I have been carrying, and instead fill me with the divine light as I choose to enjoy a peaceful Christmas with an open heart and mind. Thank you." Christmas can be a time of deep emotion for some people. It may remind us of loved ones past. It can bring up painful memories, or it reveals the true part of ourselves that we don't realize we always honor in the business of everyday life. Whatever Christmas means to you and however you choose to spend it, try to take a brief moment in this busy period to be silent, connect with the divine source within, know that you are always protected, loved, and whole, and choose to be in any moment what your heart guides you to be. I pray for a merry and peaceful Christmas for each of us, and may we continue to share the love, laughter, and community spirit in our everyday lives, one moment at a time. Namaste. That was from Becky Rozansky. All right, so excellent article right there. So, over the years, my thoughts on Christmas certainly continue to evolve. I think it's very important for us to be able to look at life and evolve our thoughts in various regards. The way it's evolved for me is, I mean, I've always loved Christmas from the time being a little kid. It's my favorite holiday. Um, I really enjoy because it celebrates the birth of the Christ. And once I've evolved in my studies and began to understand through Scripture that the birth of Jesus was actually in, the fall period of time, it kind of gave me different thought about what the holiday season meant. And then if we look up around the Christmas season, we could see the idea of the returning of the light, and we could also find that there are many other deities that have been upon the earth, or beings whose were ascribed a December 25th birth throughout history. And so you can look at this and you kind of feel like everything's lumped into this day, and maybe it doesn't mean anything and it's all a pagan holiday. You know what? Life changes, life evolves, people evolve. And over the years, we learn to evolve things, not only with ourselves but with others, with the things that we do. If you look around at Christmas time, you see that people are out there really expressing kindness towards each other in many, many ways. Sometimes they use that day as a day when maybe they show a kindness that they don't normally show. Maybe they reach out by giving to others which they might not give, or they take time out to go and participate in helping those who are less fortunate. So the Christmas day is an important day. There's a lot of positive things. Last night, I participated with this thing in where I live in California, this Christmas caroling truck. It's a really awesome thing. It's a big semi truck with a big holiday house on there, and carolers are on there, and we're singing Christmas carolers, and we're going through the streets, and there's thousands of people in the streets. And they're out there, and they're celebrating, and they're partying, and you go by, and they're holding up signs that are telling you thank you and Merry Christmas, and everybody is so happy. Whether you're on the truck there, or whether you're in the crowd, whatever it is, everyone is so happy. And that's the whole secret. That's what this is all about. It's about the happiness we share. It's about the love we share. Okay? And those are the things we need to take from this, more than anything else. Okay? And it's really easy for us to always want to interject that there's some conspiracy or dark idea behind what these seasons are about if they don't completely fit in line with what we think we know. But all we have to do is just look at the simple reactions of people. Look at the reactions of children on Christmas, how happy they are. Look at the reactions of people when they just share a kind greeting with each other. And maybe that one day of the year, maybe that one day of that expression of kindness, maybe that might become a second day or a third day. Maybe it might become a habit for many people. A lot of things can happen with it. But Christmas time, holiday time, is a very important time for all the reasons which I just talked about. And remembering the Christ during this time, even though it's not his particular birth date, it's still that we're remembering the Christ. We're taking time out to honor him. In the fall, we should take time out on the time that his birth would be to honor him then, just like on your birthday you would like to be able to be acknowledged. But we celebrate in December. That's when we have the party. So let's celebrate the party. Let's remember the light that the Christ brings into our lives. Let's remember the light of the menorah and of the reclaiming of the temple from the Hanukkah season. And let's just and the winter solstice of the returning of the light. And let's just look at this time for what it is. Light is returning to the planet. Light. External light and internal light. And we are the facilitators of this. And we can either block this light that shines through us, or we can allow it to shine bright. The choice is ours. What we're encouraged to do is to allow it to shine bright, because when we allow it to shine, that light joins with others who are shining their light. It attracts others. It repels darkness. And as more and more people gather together in light, Miraculous things happen. And that is one of the reasons why this is such a miraculous holiday season, because of the gathering of so many individuals who are expressing kindness on this day. And when that amount of kindness and love is expelled into the world, expressed into the world, miracles happen. So we have perfect example because we call Christmas the season of miracles. It's because of what we do. We are the miracles. We're shining a light, and that light is creating the miracles that we want. So let's just keep shining the light, my friends. Let's just keep shining bright this light within us, this divine light, and let's shine it and share it and brighten up this world so that all of us are happy. Like each and every day, like Christmas time. Imagine the same happiness you feel on Christmas Day, the same happiness and love you feel towards friends and family on that particular day. Imagine that feeling every day of the year. Imagine if we extended that kindness to everybody every day of the year. It'd be a different planet, wouldn't it? It would be a whole different place. Something for us to strive towards. But nonetheless, I think we're in a really good place. We're moving forward now. And today is a great day to consider what these seasons are, because today is not only about Christmas, but today is also about Hanukkah. And it's also physically a returning of the light as we pass the winter solstice, and now the days are starting to get longer. All saying the same thing. And when you have multiple sources saying the same thing, what you've got is a confirmation that the information being presented is important. They're all saying the same thing. Light is returning. We have the confirmation since they're all saying the same thing. Therefore, let us be happy. Let us be celebrating, because that light is here to shine bright for all of us. Not just some, for all. Because we're all in this together. So there you have it, my friends. That's the Christmas special for today. I'm going to end things up as usual with a prayer and a meditation. Actually, you know what? I'm going to jump away for a moment to a song, and I will be right back. This is a Great Spirit. Here we go. Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Great Spirit, send down your love, send down your love.
Spirit, send down your love, shine down your light, show us the way each and every day. Great Spirit, send down your love, shine down your light, show us the way each and every day. Oh, 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 Great Spirit, light, love, and peace. Light, love, and peace. Those are the very important things that are taking place in our lives these days. So this wasn't a traditional show. I didn't do anything about UFOs, and I certainly didn't do any conspiracy theories today or current event news. The most important thing about today is Christmas and Hanukkah. We'll leave the UFOs for another time. They keep flying in and out, doing what they're going to do, and just looking at something flying in the sky isn't going to really make that much difference in our lives if we don't know about those particular things for today. But trust me, if a UFO finally decides to land and a being gets out of it, I'll make sure that you're the first ones to know, and we'll certainly report that story right away. All right, so let's close out today's show with a little prayer and meditation. Kind of All right, my friends, that is it for today. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful day. Whether you're celebrating Christmas or whether you're celebrating Hanukkah, have a wonderful, blessed day with your friends and with your family. Let the light that has returned to the planet, let the story of the light shine brightly in us. Let us be inspired to go out and share this with others. There's a wonderful opportunity ahead of us, my friends, in shining this light before us. It's like walking into the dark with a flashlight and finding a storehouse filled with treasure. And the treasure is each one of us. For we are the ones that we are finding walking in the darkness. And as we shine this light, we go from being lost to being found. For we find each other. And when we find each other, we find ourselves because we are all connected, one way or another. That's it for today, my friends. Have an awesome, awesome day. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Peace and blessings to all of you. I love you, and keep loving each other, and I will talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.